good morning everyone.
Good morning.
So my name is Tracy James and I'm from Auburn University. I'm a PhD student and I'm also an international student, so I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. So, well, I got it first, sorry. Okay, so a little background. So I actually did my bachelor's degree and my master's back home at the University of the West Indies, and I actually got an awesome opportunity to come to Auburn University. So in making the decision to come to Auburn, I actually got funding, which is assistantship, so my tuition would have been paid, and I also am a graduate research assistant. So looking at this opportunity, I saw it fit to take it, and also I wanted to get a new experience, something like diverse. So that's why I took the opportunity to come to the US to study. I met up with some international students as well, and we were having some discussions, and we were also talking about some of the challenges that we experienced. So that is just a little backdrop I gave, so let's talk about the introduction. So in the US, there are over 800,000 international students attending universities, and particularly for Auburn, there are, in general, 31,000 students, and of these 31,000, there is 6% that are international students. So we have 1,055 undergraduates, and 1150 graduates. So according to Roy and others, reasons that international students would choose to study in the US are availability of programs that they're interested in pursuing, opportunities to have a career and work prospects in the US, and just attaining a higher education in the United States. Rousley and Graham looked at some of the challenges from previous research, and this is what they came up with. They said that academic life would have been a challenge for some of the students coming to study at the US. Health insurance issues, so it would have been costly, difficult to attain. According to where students would go to the university, like some college towns, it would be difficult for transportation-wise, some social interaction. So a lot of international students, their first language is not English, so it would have been difficult for them to actually be sociable with other students. Accommodation would have been difficult to find, and also some of them experienced some discrimination. So the purpose is to examine the opportunities and challenges of international students experience while studying at Auburn University. So my methodology was, first I did a pilot study. So I did a quick questionnaire, and I sent it out via WhatsApp to an international student group, and I got 7 responses. And I had open-ended and closed-ended questions, and looking at the responses, I did a revision of the questionnaire, and then I submitted it to IRB for approval. So the questionnaire was submitted via Qualtrics. It was done in Qualtrics and then submitted and sent out via email to the international student population. And from the responses, I got 32 responses, and 30 were actually viable for data analysis. I also included a 5-point Richter scale to look at the satisfaction of students actually studying at Auburn, and I also did some simple descriptive analysis. So these are the results. So we see that from the 30 students, 18 were male, and I can't see, 18, 11 were female, and 1, they were white. I'm not gonna say what my gender is. And the question, did you attend another educational institution in the US before attending Auburn University? So 20 of them would have said no, and 10 actually did. So thank you. All right, so with regards to student funding, 53% actually receive assistantship. 16% receive both assistantship and family funding. 10% receive fellowship, 10% family funding. Scholarship would have been 3.3. The scholarship and assistantship combined 3.3, and scholarship and fellowship is 3.3. So they were asked, participants were asked to choose 3 reasons why they were seeking opportunities to study in the US, and this is what the results were. So 25% stated they were basically looking for better education outside of their home country. 80% stated that there was an opportunity to experience living in a foreign country. Some wanted to improve their language skills, 15% wanted to improve their language skills. 15% stated that they just wanted the opportunity to gain work experience outside of their country. 15% stated it was an opportunity to improve their career prospects in their home country. So these were the students that were really wanting to go back home and not cause a brain drain, but carry their knowledge and their skills back home. 6.6% they stated that this was a pathway for immigration, so they would have wanted to actually move and settle to the US in the future after completing their education. And 3.3 said that they got financial aid, the government paid for it, or where they were working, they actually paid for them to come to the US to study. So enrollment at Auburn University. So there were actually three factors that, there were factors that influenced students choosing Auburn in particular to pursue their education. And so I asked them to actually state three, and these were the results. So 90% stated that it was just the availability for them to study the program that they really wanted to do. This was an opportunity for them to just do research, that's 15%. 14% stated that they were getting funding. So funding was the main factor for them in actually choosing Auburn University. The institution reputation, so it's highly acclaimed, so that's like, yes, I want to go to Auburn University, so 30% actually stated that. Where it is located, a lot of students, they come from warmer countries, so situated in the south, yeah, it's kind of relatable to them. So recommendations by recruiting agents. So someone would have mentioned it to them and they decided, hey, I'm going to go to Auburn. Suggestions and advice from friends and family. So maybe they had relatives, they had friends who attended Auburn and this was a suggestion for them. The cost of study, online reviews, attaining a potential job for graduation, and also online reviews. Right, so here we move to the challenges. So students were asked to state three challenges that they experienced while studying at the US, well, particularly Auburn. So these are the cost of living. So 90% said that it's kind of expensive because, you know, when you come from other countries, you know, the exchange rate is totally different. So it's a little more expensive for them. A lot of them, 15%, they also had difficulty in developing social connections. So they weren't able to easily socialize and connect with other people due to like culture, differences in cultures and stuff like that. The cost of tuition fees. So 14% stated that due to the cost of tuition fees, it was expensive. I kind of have to put a question mark on this because most of the people actually got funding. It was only 3 that were fully funded, so I'll put a question mark on that one. Meeting academic demands. So some students, they felt like it was very difficult to meet the academic demands demanded from them. It could be because language barrier, could be it was a different amount of workload compared to what they're accustomed to. 12% they experienced loneliness, homesickness, a proficiency in English. So as I stated previously, a lot of students, English is not their first language, so this would have been a barrier or challenge for them. Difficulty adapting to the US culture, so a lot of them would have experienced culture shock, so this would have been like very challenging for them. And issues related to the student visa, inadequate knowledge about visa regulations. So a lot of students, they don't really know about the visa regulations and what is the process to go through it. So it would have been challenging for them, and 3.5% said discrimination. So this is the level of satisfaction scale that I did. So I did a mean, and these were the questions asked, and they were asked to rate it from 1 to 5, with 1 being extremely dissatisfied and 5 being extremely satisfied. So looking at the campus facilities and services, I actually did the mean and then I did a grand mean, and it was 3.79, and as you can look here, that falls within the somewhat satisfied. So basically, based on the campus facilities and services, the students, they were somewhat satisfied. Okay, so in conclusions, students, they were very happy, they were excited about the opportunities that they would have received, but also they experienced some major challenges. The four main challenges were the cost of living, difficulty in developing social connections, cost of tuition fees, and meeting academic demands. So overall, they were somewhat satisfied with campus facilities and services provided to them. But I think that more assistance could be provided to international students in some areas to help them transition smoothly into the Auburn University system. Okay, some implications and recommendations. So the challenges these international students face in adjusting in higher education, it may impact on students' academic and psychological well-being. So it is recommended that faculty encourage support staff to explore available resources on behalf of incoming international students prior to their arrival so that they can be prepared with specific resources when questions inevitably arise. That's it. Oh, I had one restriction or limitation. That's what I was looking for. So the sample size was very small. When I was collecting the data, actually, I had like a time frame to collect it because the person that actually sent out the survey for me, she said I had to wait 3 weeks into the semester when all students were present in order to, and then the timeline to submit for the conference. So I had like probably 1 week to collect data. Yeah. So my data set was really small due to this. Wow. That was my limitation, folks. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy. We have questions.
Did you continue to allow responses to come in afterwards? Do you have more that you might share with us subsequently?
It was only 2 more added after submission, so it wasn't much. But I mean, I wanted to like do another send out, but I think like with the change in the semester and stuff like that, it would have been a little complicated. Yeah. Yes.
Tracy, you did a great job. This is really interesting. So I have a question based on like the instrument that you use. So in one of your previous slides, you're kind of going through your methodology, and I saw that you had a visual that had like happy to sad.
Yes.
Did you incorporate any visuals into your questionnaire? Because you might have students that have a variety of languages.
Yes.
Did you have any visuals?
Think of that? No, I did
Okay,
not.
that would be a really cool idea to think about in the future of if there is language barriers, which we know with international students, to get a deeper understanding of how do they really feel. Maybe adding some visuals of like, I recognize this, like this is kind of how I feel or associate. That would be a really cool idea. So, great job.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
I just want to comment, good job on using WhatsApp. I've heard a lot of folks trying to use social media and understanding that what's available or accessible for one group of folks are comfortable with having for everybody. So like kudos to you for using
So most international students actually use WhatsApp.
Because it makes no sense to be able to contact family and friends.
How many total graduate students are there at Auburn? I recognize there were almost equal numbers of undergraduate international students and graduate international students. I suspect that international graduate students is a larger percentage of the graduate population than of the total.
I wasn't able to find that. I was looking for the information, but I wasn't able to pinpoint it. Like,
Do you know, Jason?
So I was just going to look it up. I don't know offhand, actually.
I mean, that's not unusual, but it's a sizable portion of the graduate students at the university.
Do international students, when they come for assistantships, do you think that they find out when they get over here there's some gotcha moments, such as we'll pay for tuition, but
you have to
these
pay money.
fees are
I got a little caught off as well, so yes.
So that's a bit of a struggle for them.
So that's why I put a question mark by the tuition fees, because I think they were really trying to say the mandatory fees that they have to pay. Because most of them would have had the assistantship, the fellowship, the scholarships, and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we go back to the challenges slide, if you please? Thank you. The second one up here, difficulty in developing social connections. Was there any relationship in your view between that one and the one at the bottom, discrimination? Do you think there was any connection there?
I wouldn't be able to tell. I mean, I feel like the sample size is really small to really make a connection, honestly speaking. And there's only 3 that stated it as well. There's only 3 people that stated it.
Oh, okay.
Don't wait for recognition.
Non-governmental organizations that actually, they actually provide international students with a place where they can come, have game nights, because I'm part of this organization as well.
Okay.
So this is where they actually have a sense of belonging. So like when everybody leaves town for Christmas and stuff and for summer, like this is basically like their family. Yes.
Very good.
With the stuff you collected on the next slide, actually, where you got all of the means, were you able to do anything to figure out like what improvements they would want to move that up into being more satisfaction? Because it can be really hard to measure what causes them to rate satisfaction in a specific way if we don't know how to improve that.
Yeah. So I actually, sorry.
This is, I know Tracy did this one. There's another study that a colleague of mine did. It's on social belonging for international students from Wake Forest, and he has a larger study working with maybe 14 institutions to look just at that. His name is Dr. Nelson Brunstein, and so I can connect that information with Tracy.
Thank you.
Tracy, back up to that, the previous slide again, and just a suggestion. You know, that 17, the frequency cost of living, is 19% of the total responses, but it's 60% of the individuals shows that. You may want to show both of those, or remind them that that's the third. At first, I think that's 19% the cost of living was that was over half of them who thought that.
I actually had it in and I took it out.
Oh well.
Okay, I will do that next
All right,
time.
that's my only
No,
message. I'd say you should read that. Wonderful job.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Okay, thank you. Is that it for questions?
No, other questions.
Oh, yes.
Do you have any plans to follow up with a qualitative study to dig deeper into here?
I feel like that would be a great idea.
I'm really curious about some of these challenges to dig deeper into it. So I'm recommending that.
It's a possibility. Yeah.
Very good.